Hello everyone, I'm the MoeChicken and welcome back to more pinball games. Today we are playing the Pinball Hall of Fame Gottlieb Collection. This is a PS2 game that I'm actually kind of excited to play because it's sort of like a mix between a Pinball Hall of Fame and like a history game. And as you may know from watching my series, both me and Ed like history. We like to talk about that sort of stuff. So we're going to go through all of these different things, and I'm going to teach you about them. And I'm sorry, but I just love this kind of stuff. So going back to the first one, the first pinball machine we'll be playing is the Big Shot. The Big Shot. Let's see. So the Big Shot. Let's go. So the way I'll work this is I will first play the pinball machine, and then I will teach you the history of the pinball machine because I just can't help myself. So let's get going. So when I was doing a little warm up on this before I started, I could not figure out how to launch the ball. It's pulling back on the really? Wow. It's pulling back on the right thumbstick for some reason. Very strange. So this, as you can see, is like a billiards themed pinball game, which is kind of cool. I like that. If I remember correctly, the main objective when playing this is to hit all of the flipper or all of the little targets for the various pool balls. I don't think you have to hit them in a particular order, but you're just trying to hit all of them. And I think they reset every time your ball goes. So gotta do it again. I don't know, like, so I don't know much about the Gottlieb company, but looking at the fact that there was an entire game that I'm so bad at pinball. It's just awful. Considering there's an entire game devoted to the Gottlieb Collection, I have to assume that it was a pretty famous manufacturer. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. This, like, we're gonna see a lot of really cool art. Like, I like all the designs. They've done a very good job at making something that I have to assume is very authentic looking. I mean, it looks, or rather, is authentic. All right, let's learn things about the Big Shot table. So, the history of the Big Shot. Big Shot, 1974. This table was the two-player version of the 1973 table Hot Shot. This pool-themed game is very popular among expert players and collectors because of the skill required to hit the 14 drop targets. Those are the pool balls, I think. There were only 2,900 units manufactured, despite the fact that the gameplay is now considered classic. Okay, on to the next one. Yes, please. So the next one, if it's the one, yeah, this one is cool. This has a really cool feature that I'm excited to use. Do you see that like area in the middle that's kind of like looks different? We're gonna see what that is in just a sec. And I mean, it's a space themed one. I always love space themed anything. So there you go. All right, launch. But yeah, I have to assume that these are very accurate to their real world counterparts. I'd love to kind of like see them in comparison. Actually, I tell you what, Ed, if you would, see if you can find a picture of these boards just to see if they're like how they look. So if Ed can find them, sorry, buddy, he will put them before I start playing. Sorry, completely blanked there. Sorry. Yes, anyway. This one's cool, though. I want to get to that middle area. I don't know if you can tell. I guess I'll go ahead and explain what it is. It is a recessed second pinball area, like a second play area that is inverted. So you can kind of see it here. It slopes towards the back of the pinball machine, and it has like flippers on the back side of the pinball machine. It's so cool, but I can't remember how you get in there. Like when I was kind of test playing this a little bit, I managed to do it, and I don't remember how I did it. So I hope I can make it in there again because it was cool. Oh, and that's also interesting. That 3-gate area up there at the top. I always talk about liking those. You're actually turning lights off rather than turning lights on. That's very unusual. Usually it's the other way around. I guess it's because it's the black hole. Nope. The black hole. One thing I will admit that I like is that the default number of shots in this game is 5 instead of 3. So that's good for me because I'm terrible at pinball. Yeah, good times, good times. Come on, I want to find out how to get in there. I think it's probably up there. If I can figure out how to shoot up that ramp, then I can maybe show you guys something cool. And if not, I'm just, you know, gonna fail at pinball like I usually do. No, I didn't do it. I got too many pinball. We gotta go. I was gonna say I've got too many pinball machines that I have to get through. I can't be bothered with that. Suffice it to say, your pinball goes down into that little middle area, and you play pinball upside down, and it's cool. Let's talk about the history. Black Hole, 1981. This was the first table to feature the revolutionary lower reversed pit playing surface. However, its biggest claim to fame is that it was the first accepted table that cost 50 cents to play, which quickly made it the highest earning pin game in the history of the industry. All right, cool. Yes, please. So, on to the next one. Now we are going on to Select Aces High, or just Ace High rather than Aces High. This one is gypsy and card themed. I guess is the best way to describe it. It's got like a kind of a playing card theme. Also, it's got like a clown down there, which is its own problem. And then it's just got like gypsies, or not gypsies. It's got like those stereotypical like Arabian dancer ladies for playing cards. I don't associate that with a casino. I don't really know why they went that direction, but there you go. So yeah, this is Aces High, and I've already lost 2 balls. Jeez. You know, that's I'm sort of used to the idea of having that little channel that behind those triangular bumpers that always wind up being in Did I lock my ball? What happened there? I think I locked my ball. Okay, that might be cool. Maybe we'll get a multi-ball later. That little channel that leads to the triangular, or leads behind the triangular bumpers to the flippers. It's not here, and I have lost so many balls as a result. Super not good. Super not good. But it looks cool. I mean, like, I really like the art in the backgrounds the art that is used in the backgrounds of these various pinball tables, because I don't know, it just looks authentic. It looks like something that you would have seen in like the 70s, 60s, 80s whenever they were made. So I guess I locked that ball, but nothing came of it. No prizes, no wagering, so says that seal. Cool. Okay, let's learn the history about 1957. Okay, so very old. History. Ace High, 1957. Gottlieb dominated the pinball industry during the 50s and 60s, producing over 200 different tables. Gottlieb was well known for its sports theme, fantasy, casino, and playing card themed tables like Ace High. During this era, when this game was still in arcades, good players would accumulate replays and sell them back to the arcade owner. This led to banning replays in several states. How would they do that? Exactly. How would they... how would you sell back a replay of a... I don't know how that works. Okay, moving on. I don't know how that works, but that was Ace High. On to the next one. Now we are playing Genie. Now, I seem to remember... Yep, there's Genie. I seem to remember I liked this one. You might not be surprised about that, considering how much I liked Shantae, but I like genies. I don't know. I've always kind of liked them. I think it's because when I was a kid, I used to watch various Nick at Night shows with my parents, and that... I feel like I keep doing that where I go silent out of sadness. Anyway, yeah, I would watch various Nick at Night shows, and I Dream of Genie was one of them, and it was fun, and so from a... Really? Wow! I died the same way 2 times in a row. So good at pinball. Yeah, I got... from very early on, I associated a particular look with Genie ladies. And that's what they've got. Oh my gosh. Guess who's real bad at Gottlieb pinball machines? This guy. Super bad at them. Yeah, so I just like that Genie look. Not the word I was looking for, but I guess it works. The Genie look. But I also think, like, look at how cool the art for this one is. It kind of reminds me of the artistic style you would have seen in like old older comic books and like old DC and Marvel comic books. Just, I don't know, the colors are really like bright and saturated, and the art is very like clearly inked, and I don't know, it's just really cool, and like there's a lot going on, but you can still very clearly tell what's a bumper and what's not. It's just, I don't know, it's solid. Like if this was the quality you could come to expect from Gottlieb style like machines, yeah, I get why they would be famous, because this is pretty good. It's pretty good. I really don't know that much about pinball machine manufacturers, though, to tell the truth. Honestly, there really haven't been that many pinball games I've played in my life. Like, a lot of the pinball machines that I saw were either in arcades, like the Aladdin's Castle that I mentioned in another episode, or something like a Chuck E. Cheese, maybe. And usually those were very much geared towards some sort of brand, you know, like it's a Simpsons pinball machine, or it's a Doctor Who pinball machine, or it's a, I don't know, some other some other IP pinball machine. And so this idea of like unique pinball machines that are kind of like not themed off of some other IP, but rather were made up by the actual pinball machine manufacturer, I think that's kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of like rides at like a fairgrounds, because I also had like we had a state fair that would show up every year near where I lived when I was growing up, and I remember going to the fair a lot and seeing these really impressive rides with all these like cool illustrations and stuff on them, that were not like themed. What's it doing? It's like slowly counting up. What are we doing here? Okay, there we go. Yeah, they were like they weren't themed towards any particular, you know, IP or anything like that. They weren't sponsored, in other words. But, oh geez. Go. Okay. But they were like cool. Like the art was neat, and I just remember thinking that was really, I don't know, cool. I feel like I've said that a lot right now, but yeah. So I like seeing the art in these because it doesn't feel. It's not like, again, it's not my my experience with actual pinball machines, which is, you know, always sponsored by a particular IP, and I lost. Okay. Is that it? Am I done? Am I done? I think I'm done. Game over. Okay. Let's learn the history behind the Genie. History. Genie, 1979, considered by many to be the best wide-body table of its era and possibly of all time, a true Gottlieb classic that is very addictive. This table was designed with well-thought-out objectives and features 5 flippers. 2 flippers in the upper left corner create a mini playfield. Very cool. I actually really did like it. That's my favorite one that I've played so far. Yep. Choose a new table. Genie. So, on to the next one. Central Park. Oh, this one. I actually played this one during my warm-up, and it's not my favorite, but we'll do it anyway. And I'll tell you why. Well, I'll show you why, because invariably I will die because of it. It's got 2 flippers at the top that don't move when I push the buttons. I don't know what the point is, but they're there. You see how... Did you see how wide that area at the bottom is? I don't know how you're supposed to survive in this one. It's just... You know, there's such a wide area in which you can lose, and I inevitably do. So, yay for that. But, what... Also, what does this have to do with Central Park? I lost again. Look at how many, like... What do you call that? A well? An alleyway? Something like that. It's just... I don't know. We're going to get through this one real quick and move on. This is not my favorite pinball machine, but... But once again, as you... I don't even feel like I'm playing it. Like I almost feel like this one is more luck-based than usual, in that all I can do is just hope that I get a lot of points before it gets down to the place where I could actually affect the gameplay, and then invariably lose. I'm just bitter. It's just a hard one. Also, what's up with that monkey on the top right by my credits? He looks so strange. What are you doing, monkey? Why are you going to hit that bell? It's very odd. But yeah, the art's really good. It looks really nice, and it's very colorful. maybe a little bit too much yellow and green, but I'm gamed over already. So let's learn the history of that terrible, terrible pinball machine I just played. History. Central Park, 1966. Considered one of the best playing classical tables, Central Park featured a comical backglass animation of a monkey ringing a bell every... Oh, okay, it's a monkey ringing a bell. Every 100 points scored. Pinball Hall of Famers consider mastering table nudging and target shooting on this table to be essential to proving one's expertise at playing classic tables. So I guess I should have been nudging more. I wasn't nudging enough. I failed in my nudgery. All right, on to the next one. Teed off. That's a funny... Oh, no. This one looks very complicated. Okay. And it also looks like it may be Caddy Shack themed? Maybe? Like, I do know that some pinball machines sort of lean heavily on, like, imitating other things. Like, that's the other... I feel like that's the other type of pinball machine I've seen where it's like a pinball machine that's designed to kind of look like it's something else, or like it's has some other like has an official IP, but it's just sort of like just looks like it. And I feel like that's probably this one. Also, it's very dark. I don't know, this one doesn't look so great. And there's like a lady by one of the flippers. I keep seeing her, and and there's a terrible looking guy next to one of the other ones. What's happening here? Go, launch. Yes. Gopher! Okay. I got an E. I got an E for gopher, I guess. I don't know. A hole in one. Yay. 1 holes in 1. Coconut bonus. I just noticed that said coconut bonus. Why did it say coconut bonus? What is any of this? It's very strange. Coconut bonus. Coconut bonus. Pitch and putt. I don't know. This one's there's a lot going on here. Like there's a ton of. I also kind of like that what do you call it? Zigzag thing that happens there. That was kind of neat. But yeah, this is a very lot of stuff going on in this one. It's a very what is the word I'm looking? Not enthusiastic, varied board, I suppose. You know, I'm thinking back to some of the other pinball machines that we've played in this extensive series, and you know, some of my favorite ones, honestly, were the simpler ones, because you can kind of figure out what to do easier. Like, I like how much is going on here, but in much the same way that well, that's not... No, that actually wouldn't support my point if I tried to say what I was just about to say, so never mind. I don't know. I like some of these simpler ones, but that's me. That's me. And I think maybe part of it is that I don't have a whole lot of knowledge of how to play pinball properly, and as a result of that, I just sort of play my best, and stuff doesn't happen, and there you go. Like, I imagine if you were a pro pinball player, then a pinball machine that has like tons and tons and tons of things to do would be like, that's what you want, because that allows you to play more, that allows you to get more out of it, rather than a pinball machine that has like 2 or 3 things, and you do them all on your first ball, and you're sort of like, well, I'm done. What else is going on with this pinball machine? So I imagine this type of game, or a board like this one, would be more appealing to someone who is quite talented at pinball, which is not me, as we have said many, many times. What does that even do? It goes in the cup and then just like springs back out again? And what's that middle section with like a weird... Is that it's a bear? No, it's a... Oh, okay, that's a gopher. There's like a gopher and a wheel in the middle, and I lost. Let's find out the history of this one. I'll find out the history of Teed Off. Teed Off, 1993. Yeah, I could see that, honestly. Premier was founded in 1984 by a former Gottlieb employee. So is this a Premier board? When Premier acquired the Gottlieb pinball assets, they continued to display both company names on their tables. Teed Off and Victory share this dual branding. Teed Off also featured a dot matrix display, an innovation which allowed designers the ability to show additional information to the player. An animated gopher named Gunther sat atop the back glass and moved along with audio that constantly taunted the player. So, all right, I think we have one more to go. Let's see. Yes, this is the last one, I think. Yep. Victory. So will victory be mine? We will find out. Okay, it's racing themed. Is that? Okay. So I was looking at the little Formula 1 racer up there, and it kind of looks like it has 2 guns sticking off the front of it. I was like, why is this like a violent Formula 1 racer? It's very strange. All right, let's go. Oh, this one looks very properly themed. We'll just go though. But yeah, I imagine this kind of pinball machine would be, or pinball game would be really appealing to a person who like maybe played pinball machines growing up, and they didn't really, because I mean like it's kind of hard to find pinball machines nowadays. Whereas at one point in time they were relatively they were as common as arcades used to be. And arcades are also not terribly common. But yeah, if you were like a person who played pinball growing up and you really wanted to relive that, I think this kind of game would be great for that. And, you know, speaking to sort of judge... That's weird. It didn't make it up the entire ramp for some reason. Very strange. Speaking to the notion that, like, as I've been playing all of these pinball games, I kind of, like, discussed what I thought of them, if I thought they were good game, bad game. I would definitely say that this game serves as a pretty good game. Provided, you know, you want to play pinball in a very authentic way. Like, that's what I would say, is that this feels very authentic. If that's your thing, great. If that's not your thing, a little less fun. Like, I'm thinking back to some of the other ones I've played, like Dragon's Revenge, which was so, like, fantasy themed and had, like, it was like an adventure and there were all these other things. It's like, that to me is sort of what video game pinball is all about, where you know, you're just trying to like fight a dragon or like defeat demons or aliens or something like that, because that's something that you can't do on a real pinball table, or at least not as easily. You know, it's kind of hard to go to a bonus level on a real pinball table unless you've got something like that awesome black hole table, which I could not do the bonus level for. Still cheesed off about that, but whatever. So, speaking as somebody who really didn't play that much pinball growing up, the authentic boards are less appealing to me. But I can still see the benefit of them, and I can still really respect the authenticity and then like the level of detail and effort made to making it look super good, blah blah blah. And yeah, I don't know. It's a good one. I think maybe playing this many this many tables in a single episode may have been a bit much. Go. Yes. Activate. Did I lose? Oh, nope. Something's going on. What's going on? Go. Launch. I'm just changing the view of the I was trying to push a button to launch the ball, and I was just like changing the viewpoint. So circle is the viewpoint change button? Seems a little strange. Also, what did I just do there? Kind of like, it looked like I teleported the ball. A little strange. Yeah, why would circle be a perspective change button? Actually, that presents its own interesting idea. I suppose inevitably with any sort of medium, you eventually just develop certain norms. But it is sort of funny how there's certain buttons which feel like they're appropriate for certain things in games. Alright, a game over. We'll stop that very interesting conversation, I'm sure, about button assignment, and let's learn the history of Victory before we go. Victory, 1987. This is a fun, fast-paced driving-themed game. Victory was the first game to use fully screened photorealistic vitrograph Mylar overlay for its playfield, rather than the industry-standard silkscreen on the wood itself. Victory contained modern features such as ramps and overpasses, while maintaining the Gottlieb tradition of relatively straightforward table objectives. Alright, is there any way I can find out about the history of Gottlieb themselves? That would be our last bit of history if it's available. Pinball Hall of Fame. Oh! Oh, maybe this is based on something. Okay. The Las Vegas Pinball Collectors Club in Las Vegas, Nevada, owns the largest pinball machine collection in the world. The club has collected over 1,000 original machines and is in the process of restoring them for a planned museum and vintage arcade in Las Vegas called the Pinball Hall of Fame. Please visit www.pinballmuseum.org to learn more. So, Ed, if you would, give us right here a quick update if this museum has opened or not. Is it open? There you go. Okay, that's gonna be it for this one. This has been Pinball Hall of Fame, the Gottlieb collection. I keep trying to say Gottlieb condition, which is his own thing, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. I am MoeChicken. This is Pinball Games. Thanks for stopping by.